Well, hey gang, how you doing? This is Will Moore, your host with Somewhere in America, and on this episode, I talk about a new film, and I ask the question: did I actually get lucky? Stay tuned. So, my question is did I get lucky? So I was on Amazon, and I'm always looking for new film stocks, whether it be 35 millimeter, 120. I really don't shoot a lot of 35 millimeter, but if I do find something that I might want to try out, let me give you a couple of keys here. One of the good things about, even if you're shooting medium format or large format like I am, one of the good things about having a 35 millimeter film is that if you're trying to try out a film, this is a good way to try it out, because if you don't want to buy like a couple of rolls, which medium format is 120 film is usually 12 shots or 10 shots depending on the camera you're using. And then of course, if you're doing a large format, then you're dealing with 4x5, 8x10, whatever large sheets, you're spending a lot of money. And if you don't want to just really invest that much in a particular stock of film, and you want to make sure that you know exactly if you like it or you don't like it, then 35 millimeter is always the way to go. So I was on Amazon, and I don't know how I lucked up on this particular film, but it's called Lucky. It looks like, I don't know if I think it's Japanese. It's SHD 400. It's a black and white 36 exposure film, and it's called Lucky. And so I was reading some of the reviews, because I always like to check the reviews out before I actually go and purchase something. And I was reading the reviews, and in the reviews it said, one guy said that it was a pretty good film. He really liked it. And I saw some of his images that he posted, and he said that he can remember at one time that they were selling this film for 99 cents. So now I bought it for, I think, about maybe $6, $7. I can't remember. I think it was about $6 or $7. And I said, I'm going to go ahead and try it out. So I loaded it up in my old Maxim 450 SI Minolta camera, and it's an automatic camera. I've used this camera on the show before, and I really like this camera because it allows me to do a lot of. It's just fantastic. I mean, on this I got the 35 to 70. I also got a 70 to 200. So it's a really good camera, and I enjoy it. It shoots panoramic and standard. That's what I love about it. And I talked about this camera before, so this is not about the camera today. It's about the images that I actually shot with this particular film. And you can actually look them up. They have a website on the back of the box, on the back, front, whatever, the box of the film. It is lkyl.luckyfilm.com. So go and check them out and see if I'll be honest with you, I have not actually, this is the first time I'm actually seeing that part. I didn't even go and look to see that I could actually go on a website and to see if they had any more other film. So I'm going to just look at the images with you guys. I'm going to take it down to my computer, and let's just go through them and see if I did get lucky. Now, when you're shooting film and you're shooting a new stock of film or whatever, a lot of times it's a hit and miss. You might end up with some good shots. You might end up with some bad shots, depending on the lighting and depending on what you're doing. So what I have here is the first image that I shot in my living room. And I'm just looking at it, if I was to zoom in on it a little bit, it is a fine grain. The grain is kind of fine. It's not really that pronounced, but I am digging some of the some of the details in it. I think it's pretty detailed and a detailed film. Looking at it, I mean, it's a little contrasting. But me personally, y'all know me, I love contrast because y'all know I like to shoot anything that has to do with light and structure and contrast. And I believe that as Andy Warhol said, your blacks ought to be blacks and your whites ought to be whites. There should be some type of separation with your images. And I know some people like that muted look, and no, me, this is fine for me. I went ahead and did a wider view of the whole thing, primarily because that particular wall is an accent wall, and I shot some of that stuff in color, and I like that wall. I'm gonna shoot it again, because we painted that wall, and that nobody actually sits in those chairs for some reason. It's just a showplace on that particular part of the wall. In this image right here, of course, it's just some random houses. Key thing that if you do shoot someone's house, if you notice you don't see anything in the image, like an address or numbers or anything like that, go ahead and block those out, because you don't want anybody looking at anybody. But I did this one in panoramic, and like I said, it's kind of a sort of sharp, film. It's like I said, 400 speed. I like this particular image right here. I don't know what happened with this one, because I wasn't going for this look, this dark, all this darkness. But after I had developed it and I had scanned it and and changed it from negative to positive, I looked and I was like, man, this is pretty cool, because the sun was actually coming very bright through these windows. And I really, really like the way the light picked up on this. It got a very, very Rembrandt style of painting. It looks very painterly. That's what it actually looks. And I'm really, really digging this. I think I'm gonna actually print this out and frame it. That was one of my co-workers that I was trying to check this film out every way I could. I wanted to see how it looked with portraiture. Let me see. Wanted to see what it looked like with portraiture. I wanted to see what it looked like through window lighting. Whenever you get a new film, put it through the test. Put it through the test. Do everything you can to see just how this film looks, just how this film reacts to different times of the day. Those other images that I took of my living room right there, that was done at nighttime. And just utilizing the light that was in the room. I did, of course, have the camera on a tripod, and I used the timer for that, so it came out pretty neat. This is kind of like the way you could tell where the shadows are. So where the sun is going down, this is kind of like late in the afternoon right here. This was another late in the afternoon. This was about around 6 or 7 o'clock, because as you know, in the summertime, it gets dark a lot later. So the sun was going down. And like I said, I didn't expect all this darkness. I don't know whether the way I probably metered it, but I'm really liking the texture. I'm really liking the way the shadows are, how things are muted. There's a lot of lost information in the shadow areas, but I'm good with the fade to black. As a traditional painter, there was an artist, a watercolor artist, and I think his last name was McAllister. I can't think of his first name. I used to get the Watercolor magazine, and I kept that magazine because I always I loved his work. And at the time, I really didn't know about going on websites and looking at different artists' genre or their work or anything like that. So I would keep little snippets and pictures around and stuff like that. I really wasn't savvy like that. Even though I had a website, I didn't think to go and look at his website. But he had a particular image, and his style was called the fade to black style. And he took that fade to black style from Rembrandt. Now, if you look at all of Rembrandt's work, I'm going to put an example of Rembrandt's work as we're talking about it up there. If you look at all of Rembrandt's work. Let me see here. Let's look up Rembrandt. Okay, if you look at a lot of Rembrandt's work, you'll notice that there was a lot of what they call fade to black. And even though it was a lot of darkness, like that would be in the darkness that would be in the background of the image, there wasn't a loss of detail in the shadows, but it would lend to, the light would focus on the main subjects, and I really, really like that. And that's pretty much kind of what I'm seeing that this film, I'm just trying to find another picture of his fade to black or his style. This is one right here where you see the images or the people in the background. This is just, I guess, somebody praying for someone. He did a lot of Christian type of artwork. And it's a really, really nice image here. But Rembrandt's actually one of my favorite fine artists. But anyway, so you would see a lot of those type of things, a lot of that fade to black. And I've always been attracted to that, always been moved towards that type of work. And because I think that it is very important for your that work be in contrast all the time. It is, I've really surprised that a lot of photographers, they're always talking about contrast, and they always use these words, but they really don't understand the artistic purpose of those words. That, if you got red, you need to study your color wheel so that you know what the opposite of the red is, or what's the opposite on the color wheel is, to create a contrasted picture. If this shirt I'm wearing right here, they've utilized tan or dark tan, khaki tan, and blue and white to contrast the shirt, to make the shirt a little more interesting. And that is what images like this do. So like I said, I shot this in panoramic, and I thought it came out pretty nice. I kept it in panoramic, but I turned it towards the portraiture style. And as you can see, I got a little bit more detail in the shadowy areas, but the shadows are just doing a beautiful job. It is definitely the golden hour. Did a little bit here at the pizza shop. As you can see, the shadows, everything is very elongated, very, very nicely. This images was a lady that was shooting, and I'm not going to take too much time on all these. I'm not going to go through all the 36, but it's just certain images I really wanted to go through and talk about. Just ask the question, did I get lucky? And do you think I got lucky? Or do you think I just said, will you wait? Do you just telling me, Will, you're wasting money. Don't ever buy that film again, or I'll never try it. But anyway, this particular image right here, she was a nice lady. She's an artist. It was a lady on the other side of her that was helping her, who was actually teaching her. And she was painting this dog, and I'd seen them outside my office a couple of days. And so I went out there and went over there to talk to them, asked them, could I take their picture? They said, yes, definitely. I'm thinking I should have probably just underexposed this, or just gave this more light than I actually did. But I like the way it looks, because actually this is actually everything you see around here. This is actually green grass. This is actually light. This is not in a room or anything. But I like how the lights rendered in this image right here a little bit. She really wanted me to take a picture of the dog. Here we have a little, her shirt is kind of overexposed a little bit. But it brings them out, gives that Rembrandt look again, very, very neat. She was a fantastic individual, the teacher. I actually reached out to her because I told her she wanted me to do some work for her, to come and take some images of her in her studio. As you can see, I'm introducing because I was trying to, when I was editing, starting to introduce a lot of grain in that, trying to bring back more detail. Didn't like these images, didn't like these very much. Just taking random images. There's a lot of grain. I'm seeing a lot of grain in this right here. In this particular image right here. I should have actually just pulled back on this right here and just maybe just went ahead and lost some of the detail in the shadows just so that I could bring out the highlights, and it can be for a pretty much usable image. This was a wedding that I did. I'm really disappointed with these wedding images because I used this film. It has a nice old feel, has a nice 70s, 60s old feel, a lot of grain. But as y'all know, we as film photographers, a lot of times we love the grain. You know, we don't always want it to be just smooth, but I don't know. It's pretty decent images. I really wish they could have come out a lot better because there was a lot. This actually it was in shadow over there on this deck at this wedding that I did, but there was a lot of light. There was enough light to had done a lot better with this particular film. Because this particular image right here with the candle is inside and came out actually great. The lighting was just perfect on this. But anyway, that's all the images that I have right there. So in your opinion, guys, did I get lucky, or do I just need to move on and 86 this? Do I need to say, no, this is just not a good film to work with? I don't know. In my opinion, I think that any film can be worked with. It all depends on how you feel. I think it's a matter of your opinion. But you know, I don't know. Maybe I did get lucky. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But it's a pretty good film. I think it produced very well. I think if I was to, you need more than just one box to try out. Even though I said that if you wanted to try out a film, you wanted to really find out about it, 36 exposure. But I think I'm gonna need another box if I wanted to try out this again to really get an idea. You know, I don't know. This film might be just really slated for it might be it might just be a good daylight film. Even though it's it's 400 box speed, it might be a good daylight film. I don't know. But what do you think? What do you think of the images? What do you think could have been done better? Should I have metered a lot better? Should I use the different camera? But like I said, I think out of all the images, I think this panoramic right here, and I think this one right here were my favorite because I just really love the structure and the texture of the images. And I think they just rendered well with this film, and the fade to black just did a great job. Other than that, guys, hey, that's all I have. It's a little short video on just reviewing some film that I have today. I did something different also too. Let me see. There is another film. Now it's entitled Electra 100, and this film there's a guy this is an aerial film. There's a guy that sold this film to me, and he shut down his shop, and I'm really kind of sad because I only have one more roll of this film left to shoot with, and the images that I get from this film are just dynamite. It's an aerial film. I just did a project entitled A View from the Milkman, Milkman's Eye View, or Milkman's View. And let me show you, let me see if I can pull up some of the images. Go back into the Milkman's point of view. And you guys are probably saying, who in the world is the Milkman? Well, the Milkman is my grandson. And so the Milkman is my grandson, and he's a cool kid. He's a real cool kid. He's not walking, he's not crawling, he's not pulling up. But he gave me the inspiration that to take images from the view of a child. And so that would be looking up. So I shot this with my Leica R6, my cheap They call it the poor man's Leica, but that camera is like dynamite. And if you can't get an M series, definitely get an R series. But I use this film, and what I really love about it is I love how the colors are rendered, how they're punchy. The reds are reds, the blues are blues, the yellows are yellows. It's just fantastic. This particular image right here that I shot, it's in an area where I have my coffee all set up, and I call it the coffee area. But this is all from a view. So you're actually getting another two for you're getting a two video for the price of one. But this is a view of the milk. We call him Milkman because he loves to drink. He grabs his bottle and he will drink that milk, boy. He loves eating, little fat butterball. But this is like under my sink. This is in my bathroom, looking up at the lights, looking up at the sink. The way he would be on his knees, or his view, or his eye view, looking at the toilet, wanting to, how a child always wants to get into things. I placed my camera on the floor when I took this shot. Was, fantastic. Again, I got down low with the tripod to take this image. I got up close, like, little kids see things like my Fresca can and they want to grab it. But even though I'm talking about the images in his view, what I'm digging is that I love the fine grain and the details of this film. Now, what's sad is that I went on his site last night. That's fit for my wife. So that's how he would come up and play with her feet. This right here was a kind of a peek through. But like I said, I went on his website last night just to see if he had it still up. And no, the shop has been shut down. So then I emailed him just to ask him, and he'll probably get in touch with me just to ask him if he has any more film that he just got laying around that he just really want to just get rid of and make a couple of more dollars off of. Because I really want to get my hands on just some more of this film. And as you guys can see, I mean, just look at the colors. Look, the reds. This is actually the red of my tiles on my stove in my kitchen. I love this right here. This was just fantastic. I thought he might want to grab, and how little kids want to climb up on this. Looking up at the refrigerator. Just nice little look in the living room. This is the pantry area. The bedroom. All my stuff is underneath there. Incidentally, these are all prints. They are for sale. So if you go on my website, you can see some of them. If you don't see anything, I'm going to do a show where I'm going to just be presenting prints on the show, and that you can go ahead and bid on them or ask for them or ask the price for them. That's that accent wall that I was telling you about, and that the chair's there, that we do that. Of course, that's my Fresca again. And so, a fantastic film, just a fantastic film. And he used to call it Atomic, and he rebranded and changed the name to Electra 100. And I was worried because when he sent it to me, and I said, "Is this the same film? You just rebranded the name?" And he says, "Yes." And so, and I'm looking at all my other images that I took with the film before, it is the same. So, I hate that he shut down. Fantastic film. But other than that, guys, that's all I got for today. Other than that, I'm going to be going back out again. I am going to be shooting some more different films. As you know, I think it's the Phoenix 2 film has come out. My camera shop hasn't gotten any in yet. I don't want to order it. I just want to go and pick it up and try it out. I saw other photographers actually reviewing it, but I got some more film that I'm going to be shooting with, and I'm going to be going out and shooting with my Hasselblad, but shooting with my Pentax 6x7. So I'm really excited about that. I love my Pentax 6x7. I was like, I got to get it out, get the beast out, and start shooting. So right now I have some Portra 800 loaded up in it. And I'm going to be, and as you know, you're going to get 10 shots off of that. So you got to be very strategic of what you're going to shoot. So I'm going to be getting some night shots with that. And I want to just see how dealing with the Portrait 800. I'm also going to be shooting with some Cinestill 50D and also some 800T. And as you all know, with 800T, one of the things I love about 800T is that it renders the little red, as always, put the halation over it when you see the red lights. It makes all the reds pop, and they're punchy, and it has nice tungsten look. So get out and test some of these films, guys. There's so many film stocks out there. Get out there, grab some boxes of them, see if you'll get lucky, and then you'll probably land on what you really want to shoot with, and see if that works for you. Other than that, God bless you guys. I'll talk with you in the next episode. As I always say, if you can't say anything nice to anybody or do anything nice for anybody, do what? Stick a shoe in your mouth and keep it moving. God bless you. I'll talk with you later. Bye-bye.